All right, we are now streaming on YouTube. This is Clayton County Magistrate Court preliminary hearing calendar. Today's date is March 18th, 2026. This is the state of Georgia versus Monte Anderson, warrants number 2026 CW 50746 and 50747. All parties are present and have announced ready to proceed. 88 Thomas, you can present the state's case.
Detective, could you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear and affirm that the evidence you should give before the court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
You can put your hand down, state your name for the record.
Cerise Smith.
And how are you employed?
I am a detective with Clayton County Police Department.
Were you so employed in that capacity on or about February the 11th, 2026?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you have occasion to investigate an incident that occurred at 2686 Shade Drive in the confines of the city of Ellenwood, Clayton County?
Yes, ma'am.
And did that investigation involve a Monte Anderson?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you please explain to the court what happened?
On that morning at approximately 3 a.m. in the morning, Clayton County police officers received a phone call from the victim, who was at the time at Rex Recreation Center. The victim advised officers that he had just been robbed at gunpoint by two males. Officers then made contact with the victim at that location. After making contact with that victim and obtaining information from the victim and learning the last known location of the suspects, I was called in to assist the officers with obtaining more information and seeing if the money that was taken from the victim and the items that the victim described that were used during the robbery was at said location. I then made contact with the victim, who informed me that he was conversing with the suspects at night. He said the conversation started around approximately 10 p.m. that night. They were conversing about a car. After talking about the car, the suspect informed the victims that they were interested in purchasing a
Detective,
car.
I'm gonna slow you down right quick because you said victims and suspects. When you say suspect, are you referring to the defendant Monte Anderson, or are you talking about someone else?
I'm referring to there's two suspects, but yes, Monte Anderson.
Okay, I just want to make sure. You please continue.
Okay, so the victim stated that he was conversing with Anderson in regards to Anderson purchasing a car. Anderson then informed the victim that he had a pair of shoes, Nike Dunks, that he could sell him for $250. And because they were friends, it would help him with purchasing the car. He was giving him a discount. After conversing for a prolonged period, the victim and the suspect, Anderson, agreed to $200 for the shoes. However, when it was time for them to meet up, the victim did not have a car. So Anderson sent him a location that was not too far from his home. The victim then got into an Uber and took a Uber to said location to meet with Anderson. As he was en route, Anderson instructed him not to make contact at his home because there were cameras at his home and his mother would see the cameras. The victim stated that when he arrived to the location, Anderson and his co-defendant
Okay,
were
let me stop you one. Let me stop you 1 second. I hate this. When you say don't go to his home, is he saying don't go to the defendant's home or don't go to the victim's home? Whose home are we talking about?
Anderson instructed the victim not to go to his home, the defendant Anderson's home, to
Don't go
come
to
pick up the
Anderson's home, to
shoes.
go to somewhere else, the other location that he provided.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Please continue.
So I'm sorry. He then arrived at the location that was provided to him by Anderson. When he arrived at the location, Anderson, along with his co-defendant, were standing in the middle of the road. The victim stated that they began to again converse. They started smoking together. They were smoking marijuana and they were passing a vape around. He stated that after talking, he then provided Anderson his cell phone because he did not know Anderson's Cash App. He stated that he is a mechanic and Anderson seen the amount of money that was on his Cash App and then asked him to go up $50. At this time, he then agreed to $250 for the shoes. He allowed Anderson to use his cell phone, which was already logged into his Cash App, and send Anderson $250. He stated that after that, they spoke some more and Anderson asked him for another $50. He stated that he agreed to that $50, now sending Anderson a total of $300. He stated after talking
Take
some,
this, man. Before you keep going, I have a question.
yes,
You
ma'am.
said that the alleged victim handed Anderson his cell phone for him to cash up himself by like physically holding the phone?
Yes, ma'am. He stated
Okay.
that because he didn't know Anderson's Cash App name, he felt it would be easier. So he logged into his Cash App. He then the victim provided the defendant, Anderson, his phone and allowed Anderson to send himself the money.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And for purposes of clarification, when you say send him the money, Anderson did the transaction on the victim's phone because the victim thought it would be quicker.
Correct.
Okay.
So after the final transaction, now bringing him to $300, he stated that it was getting late. He wanted to go home to his son. So he then asked Anderson to go get the shoes. He stated that Anderson and his co-defendant began to walk down the road as if they were getting the shoes. However, they stopped, turned around. They both pulled a gun from what appeared to be their waistband and pointed it directly at him. He stated due to it being dark, he could not see the gun, but the gun that Anderson had an extended clip on it. He stated Anderson then stated something to him, it's up from here. He took that as meaning it's over, you're not getting the shoes. He stated at that time, Anderson then told him that if you call the police or if you tell the police or we see you involved with the police, you and your family will be killed. And then him and his co-defendant walked off. He stated he then called a Uber to come and pick him back up. He then called the police, informed them what happened, and showed them the conversations, the text messages between him and Anderson, as well as the Cash App transactions.
Now, all of this, I guess this is digital documentation.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have copies of all of that?
Yes, ma'am.
And where are those copies located?
They're uploaded into RMS or Polaris, I'm sorry.
And did the victim ever get the shoes that he was trying to buy?
No, ma'am.
Now, you mentioned something about the victim saw a gun, but then you said he couldn't tell if it was a gun. What did he mean by that? I guess what I'm trying to get to.
No, ma'am. I said he's seen the gun, but due to it being dark, he could not give a clear description as to the color and make and model, but he knew that it had an extended clip on it.
So he was positive it was a gun. He just couldn't, as you say, make and model.
Correct. He could not see the make and model. He was positive that both suspects had a gun in their hand, and that's what caused him to stop as he was walking forward, but he could not see the make and models.
And I think you just mentioned something. Both subjects, this defendant and the co-defendant also had a weapon?
Yes, ma'am.
Was the victim in fear of his life at that point?
Yes, he was.
Did the victim ever get his money back?
No, ma'am.
Did the other person involved in this say anything or have any interaction with the victim?
They both just reiterated the same thing at the end, which is if he called the police or they seen him involved with the police, they would kill him.
Okay. Now, have you had an opportunity? First of all, did the victim identify Mr. Anderson to you?
He identified Mr. Anderson by physical description. He also showed a picture of Mr. Anderson that was on his phone, and he stated that they were friends from a previous apartment complex, townhouses that they lived in together.
Was he able to give you any type of contact information or physical identifying information, date of birth, anything like that?
He was able to give the officers on scene a nickname and a phone number, I believe.
And how were you able to connect it to the person that's before the court today, Monte Anderson?
I was familiar with Mr. Anderson's residence and that location due to a previous case that I assisted Detective Reynolds on that was of the same nature at the same location.
And when you say of the same nature, what are you talking about?
It was for a robbery where Mr. Anderson was involved in robbing a victim of a watch.
Okay, but it was in the same general location as this incident?
Correct. It was he went back to his residence both times.
Okay, so this is within walking distance of his residence,
That is correct.
but not related to this particular incident.
That is correct.
Okay. Now, have you had opportunity to speak to Mr. Anderson directly?
I've attempted to speak with both. However, they have requested a lawyer.
And when you say both, are you referring to the co-defendant?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is the co-defendant's name?
I'm not sure on how to pronounce it. It's like a Thai. I'm sorry. I would have to look
Just
back
spell
and
it.
spell it out.
Just spell
One
it.
second.
The 16 is, but you.
It's gonna be Isaiah, and then his last name is gonna be spelled TAPIA-ROQUE.
And is this particular individual in custody?
Yes, he is.
Okay. Now, was the victim ever able to positively identify Mr. Anderson?
He showed pictures of both of them initially.
And those pictures were drawn from where? Where'd you get them?
He obtained them from social media.
Because you're.
Did he know?
Sexual.
And he previously knew Mr. Anderson from where they used to live, correct?
That is correct.
Was he able to confirm that the person before the court today is the same person that he had the encounter with on February the 11th?
Yes.
Was there any video, any ring camera, anything in the area where this happened?
I was not able to obtain any footage, no ma'am.
Do you know if this was recorded in any type of way?
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah. Call this number back.
Your interactions with the victim, were they recorded or captured in any way?
Yes, ma'am, it was recorded. He was here at Clayton County Police Headquarters in an interview room, and it was recorded.
Okay. And I believe that's all I have of the detective. I reserve right for redirect.
Detective, you're the lead on the case,
Yes, sir.
and I understand that I guess there's no video or anything like that. Are you aware of any witnesses?
I have not made contact with any witnesses.
And if I don't want to assume, but I took you to be saying that neither Mr. Anderson nor the other gentleman, neither one of them has made a statement to law enforcement about it. Is that correct?
Yes.
And I know you talked about the alleged victim, I guess, giving, various information to law enforcement. I think you said it gave a photo. Was there the phone number that was given to law enforcement? Was there any sort of independent verification that that phone number is in any way connected with Mr. Anderson?
Just by the way it was saved in his phone, but no.
Did anybody try calling that number to your knowledge?
The officers on scene.
And other than that, are you aware of any sort of like subscriber information or anything like that?
Not at this time.
Regarding the Cash App transactions that are alleged, when you say that, well, let me ask, I guess, what's the evidence that you've seen of the Cash App transaction?
He provided the Cash App transactions. He was able to provide the payment history on Cash App.
And if I'm following, he because I don't do any of that digital money. I'm a straight cash kind of guy. But I'm assuming he's showing it to you on his phone, correct?
That is correct.
Do you, and if I'm understanding, I guess there'll be the money being sent from the alleged victim's account being sent to another account. The other account, have you done any sort of verification to see if that is in any way connected with Mr. Anderson?
It comes back to the phone number that was provided for Mr. Anderson for the victim. And it was named T. It was a nickname, but other than that, no.
And so just so I'm clear, all the info that you got regarding the Cash App transaction, none of it is from, I guess, Cash App or Block or Square, whatever the company will be.
Those, not at this time, has not returned.
When you say it hasn't returned, do you mean you have something that you're waiting on or something like that?
Yes.
And as far as well, I don't want to assume too much, but I'm guessing if you don't have the subscriber info or anything like that, I'm guessing you also don't have any sort of GPS or location data or anything at the moment.
I do not.
And so if I'm understanding at the moment, I guess we have some evidence of the alleged victim sending cash to someone, but at the moment that, I guess if I'm following, and I don't want to assume too much, but if I'm following, all of the evidence is being provided by the alleged victim at this point.
That is correct. The text message thread and the Cash App thread.
And the text messages, because I wasn't sure about that when you were testifying on direct, you're saying you saw text messages about a discussion involving, I guess, the sale of the vehicle, you meant, or buying a vehicle and the sale of the sneakers. Is that what you saw those text messages?
Yeah, so it started off as casual text messages about Anderson wanting to purchase a vehicle and then them talking about the shoes.
Can I say something very briefly that has nothing to do with this case?
Okay.
Trina Mondale, check the chat. Officer Arnett, check the chat.
Thank you. 1 second.
One moment, Judge. I think that may be all of my questions. No further questions at this time.
All right. Any follow-up, ADA Thomas?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Any evidence on behalf of the defendant?
Just argument, Judge.
All right. Ms. Thomas, are you waiving your right to start?
Yes,
Closing.
ma'am, I reserve.
All right. Mr. Rogers?
Thank you. Judge, I'm going to be asking for a dismissal of both charges at this point. The part of the reason is that, as it stands right now, the only account of what happened is being provided by the alleged victim. So all the evidence is also only being provided by the alleged victim at this point, even though it can and sounds like may or may not be in the process of being independently corroborated, depending on, whatever returns from the investigation that detective is doing. But at this point, I would say absent some sort of independent corroboration or witness or video, there's no injuries alleged or anything like that. At this point, we don't have any evidence of anything other than that there was a cash happening of money. But, there's nothing saying that number one, that the alleged victim, the info that he's given about who he dealt with is correct. But number two, it doesn't offer any evidence of anything else. It doesn't offer evidence of an aggravated assault, It just offers evidence of a Cash App transaction. That's not illegal. The fact of him going there to this location, all these things, none of those are actual evidence of the crimes that are being alleged. Sometimes when I see these cases, I see like text messages where a person is, following up about, just give me the shoes or something, some sort of reference, and it being acknowledged in some way by the defendant. At this point, all we have is evidence that there was a Cash App transaction between the parties, Judge. That's not evidence of theft by conversion or aggravated assault. So I would ask for a dismissal for lack of probable cause. Thank you.
Didn't the aggravated assault, she said the alleged victim said that he had a gun that he showed him and that she saw it was black with like an extension on it. Extended.
Yes, ma'am. My point was that there's no video, there's no witness, there was no testimony about Mr. Anderson being found in possession of it or anything like that. So that's my point.
She said there was no video because your client said that's the allegation that your client said don't be in front of that house because of the cameras.
Right, I understand, but as I understand it, there also, at least, and maybe I misunderstood, but I took it to be that, there was possibly sources of video, but that they didn't have any currently. So maybe I misunderstood that.
Okay.
Because there was a question about, I believe, Ring or something like that from other videos.
Yeah, I think I understand your point is that it's only the alleged victim's word.
Yes, ma'am, and that's pretty much what it's coming down to at this point. So for those reasons, Judge, I'd ask for a dismissal.
All right, Ms. Thomas.
Your Honor, for the most part, I'm going to stand on the testimony of the officer, but I would like to bring up something that you all actually were just discussing. There's a reason why this defendant advised the victim that he did not want the transaction to occur near or at his house, and he specifically told him because of the cameras. Now, if I had been this victim, that conversation would have stopped this whole thing right then, because that's a warning sign right there. Something about this that may not be right. But further, at this point of the process, for the purposes of probable cause, we have a victim who knows the defendant. So there's really no question of the ID portion of this. They have a victim who knows the defendant to the point that he trusted him to engage in this transaction to begin with for a pair of sneakers that the victim did not receive. We have a victim who is who had a weapon, multiple weapons pointed at him, to the point where he was able to say, yeah, one of them had an extended clip. The other defendant had one, but it was a little dark, so I can't give you the exact model, but I'm positive it was a gun. He's able to show the Cash App transactions. And unless he set himself up as a charity, there's no reason to assume that that money wasn't sent to the defendant just randomly. The victim went into this deal with good faith, expecting to receive sneakers, and what he got was robbed. So at this point, Your Honor, State would contend that there's more than sufficient probable cause to transfer this case in its entirety to the Superior Court.
All right, the court does find sufficient probable cause. The case will be bound over to Superior Court for further prosecution. This matter is adjourned.
Thank you, Judge, and thank you, Detective. You're free to go.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Anderson, you can go back with the deputies.
Judge
Pardon me,
State.
Judge.
Oh, okay.